The T-Series MG was really the car that started the wave of popularity in the United States, and that's as a result of returning servicemen from World War II coming back to the States in the late 40s and bringing their recently acquired MGTCs with them. As a result, the TC has been commonly referred to as the sports car America loved first. And that trend, it just grew in popularity to the point where the TD, prior to its arrival in the States, a very scattered but organized dealer network was set up in the United States to receive and deliver those cars. And the TD was the first MG built primarily for export. The majority of the, in round numbers, 30,000 that were built, probably 95% were for export to North America. And the TD is the car I'm driving, which I acquired in 1966, so that was October 30, 1966. The TD really is the car that it evolved from everything that people started recognizing with the arrival of the TCs as a sports car that was affordable at the time, although it only would seat 2 people, and a Chevrolet was a lot less expensive in 1950 than an MG, but the Chevrolet certainly didn't have the mystique that the MG had, or the character. The TD really, if you can remember as far back as the 50s, North America started building cars and changing body styles every year, and the TD started being delivered in late 49, and the body never changed all the way through 53, which gave the American dealers a bit of heartburn because they wanted something newer each year. And there were subtle changes through the production of the TD, but only an enthusiast would have recognized those changes. Many of them were internal. The size of the clutch plate went from 7 1/4 to 8 inch. Well, you wouldn't know that unless you owned the car. Shapes of the tail lights, unless you really knew what you were looking for, you still couldn't tell one from the next. So that caused the development of the MGTF in late 53. Actually, the first one came off the line in November of 53. And the TF had a different body style. The headlamps were an integral part of the body, and the nose was swept back a bit, but basically it was a TD drivetrain. At the same time, that car was, as they say, hammered out at the works in a fortnight just to stabilize the North American dealership network. They had already started development of a 1500 engine, and there were design schemes for the MGA, which would evolve in 1956. So the MG TF 1500, which has quickly become the most desirable, has the 1500 MGA engine in it. Same TF body in 1955, but much greater displacement. And it was that series of T-Series MGs that caused the big stir, and certainly helped other manufacturers like Volkswagen. Their cars were being received in the United States in the early to mid 50s, and it's kind of a cult thing. And MGs and Volkswagens, I don't know that anyone's ever put them in the same sentence, but they had a following. And for the most part, folks that purchased used MGs in the 60s, as I did, did so because it was a car they remembered from their childhood, seeing it driving on the streets. A neighbor had one, or a relative had one, and I think that trend continues today. People who find the financial wherewithal to acquire a car, they acquire a car they remember from their childhood. Today it's muscle cars, it's GTOs and Mustangs, and it's the big block cars, but those people that are buying them because it's what they remember from their childhood. To support the hobby, various clubs started around the country, but there was no one single national MG organization. And in 1964, it was an idea that came from some correspondence between two guys, one in Vermont and one in Maine, that both knew they had a shared interest, and they both had MGs, one a TD and the other a TC, and they started corresponding, thought they'd end up maybe getting together a solid regional club, and got it launched in the fall of 1964, and with the first 32 people to join, only about 6 of them were from the New England states. But the name had already been selected, but they had members from Ohio and California. And that group, the New England MGT Register, continues today and is one of the oldest single mark organizations in the country. And from it, other MG registers have evolved specific to the MGA. There is now the North American MGA Register, the North American MGB Register, and the American MGC Register, and the Triple M Register, the pre-war cars. It's those 5 register chairs that have organized and put together the MG International events, the first being in 1996 in Indianapolis, the second in 2001 was in St. Paul, Minnesota, and the third here in 2006 is in sunny and warm Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Gatlinburg has turned out to be the largest of the 5 all-register events, with 1,200 cars approximately, and obviously that means if there are at least 2 people in a car, we've got probably another 2,000 to 3,000 participants just because they love the mark.